That's right, Matt. It's Charlie time. I'm sorry for being a little late. Had to explain how to requeen a hive to somebody. So, welcome to another Friday night bee chat. We're gonna put the old link in the comments here and pin it. Used to be to the top, now it's to the bottom. And anybody wants to roll in, they can. Hey, Randy. Hey, Eric. And let's see who else we got. We got Mike and we got Eddie from down in Louisiana and Clay Burner over there in Virginia. And we got, hey, Brian and Keith. He was down there running around with his half track down there at the tractor show. And then we got John and Kate. And we got Block Family Farm. Let me see if I can get my notes out here. Hopefully everybody's been well. It has been warm this week. Things are booming. I know Keith is pulling honey. There's Mr. Ian there. He's up there in snow country. Hopefully he's got rid of most of that stuff. And that was Rick out there in Nebraska, Block Farm. And there's Tom and Billy Lee and all that. So anyway, yeah, it's been warm. It's been in the 90s, hot and humid. You know, I really didn't need that right this early this year, but it wasn't too bad today. I've been working pretty much every night of the week, either filling up the honey dispenser or filling tank, or working in the bees, putting honey supers on. I've been doing that for the last couple of nights. Got about, I don't know, 5 or 6 more hives to go. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. Brian says he's got snow out in Colorado. Which, is that in the mountains or is that down in the valley where you're living at? I know that's needed for drinking water and stuff like that because you're in that arid area, kind of like a desert area, I guess you would call it. Monday, 33 degree. Yeah, I don't know. It ain't going to be that cold here. It might be 35 degrees at night. And black locust out in Ohio has already started blooming. We haven't even we just started getting green here as far as leaves go on the maples and black locust trees across the road. Hey, Roy, how's everything up in, I believe, Michigan? And all that. Hey, Randy, Tar Hill. Yeah, but yeah, up in North Michigan. Hey, Steve, good to see you. I see you on Facebook traveling the world. And all the women hanging on you, too. And so anyway, like I say, I've been you got a regular winter blizzard going up there. Does it ever stop snowing, Ian? My goodness. I thought things were calmed down for you up there. You got your bees out. Now you're messing with the snow on top of them. Hey, Sandy. Hey, there's Doug. There's the bee collector, Rick. And let's see, keeping up here. Everybody's chatting here. Hey, Joe. I didn't see you on the last chat, but wasn't really much to talk about there either. Eddie, Mr. Queen's man himself.
How's it going?
Good. Thank you there, Steve. Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it a lot. Keeps the lights on.
Yeah, we had to go to the bee lab today and pick up a bunch of queens. It's the first time they ever gave us more than we asked for.
Well, let me ask you something. I've been thinking about you and working with the what is it?
The USDA bee lab.
Yeah, in what, Louisiana or
Yeah, they're in Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge?
Yeah,
The Bee Lab in Baton Rouge. So now the queens, you've been in this it's a program. What is it? 4 or 5 year program?
a 5-year program.
5 year program. How many years you been in it? A couple?
This is year 3.
Year 3. So you're getting AI queens from Baton Rouge, right?
No, we're getting cells that are grafted from the AI queens. So we're getting F1s.
All right, so you're getting F1, but Baton Rouge Laboratory is basically what about the genetics? They're honing in on something there, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the pole line. So if it's really a pole line, it came from Baton Rouge. We were actually talking to Dr. Rankovich about that today because he was saying he's seeing all kinds of places selling pole line. He's been calling somebody like, "How are you selling pole line? Well, where are you getting it from? Because if it didn't come from us, it's not really pole line." And there are some that they're working with, but a lot of the stuff is showing up uh, online. People selling pole line, but I mean, it might be VSH, but if it didn't come from the Baton Rouge Bee Lab, it's not really pole line. What he was trying to
Yeah,
say.
because if one of my beekeeper members in my club, she got some pole line queens. Let's see, where did she get them? Oh, she got them from James Lee up in Michigan.
Yeah, so Frank and James work together too. So pretty much James is in the same kind of program I'm in. They're doing the same thing with Frank, except doing it up in Michigan. So those are real pole lines,
Yeah,
and he's working with some other people too. And he didn't tell us who he was or who he wasn't working with. I know he sent some breeders to Bob Benny last year also, but Bob also got some stuff from some other place too. I don't know if those were originally from the lab or not. Um, and they give us breeders as well.
right. I'll say, hey, Todd and Danny. Um, all right, so you're looking the pole line. I thought the pole line was developed for the pollinator guy. Isn't it developed around pollination and
Yeah, I mean the only way to really develop a good line of bees that's going to do anything is to do it for the commercial side because that's who's getting the majority of the queens. So if it's not going to be commercially viable, they're not going to do it. So yeah, they're trying to make something that would produce honey and grow fast and be ready for almonds and stuff. So there's a lot of Italian in them. They brewed up pretty strong.
well, that's what they want throughout
Right.
almond country. I've often wondered about that here recently, whether or not um, you want more Italian in what I'm trying to do, where I get the bee population. They all talk about is it? I think the Italians eat more honey in the wintertime, or
Yeah, I mean they're gonna brood up quicker. They burn through more for sure. I mean, I don't have experience with a lot of different lines, honestly. Like I'm just relaying what people have told me. Um, they're calm though. I mean, I like how mild mannered they are. They say I almost never wear a jacket. Uh, they're just super nice to work with. Now, if the weather's really bad, they can start to get a little bit irritable. But I think any bee is like that, you know.
who's beekeeping queen bee?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I've seen you on there.
Yeah, he was on my show the other night.
I didn't know whether he was part of that program or.
I don't know. I don't know who it is. I say I don't know everybody that's in
Yeah,
the programs.
A breeder,
Other than James and us.
huh?
Like Frank is working with some other people too, but I don't know all of them. I know he's working with James Lee up north, and
Mhm.
then he's working with us It originally started to be the bee club that Kent and I are in, but nobody else really wanted to have much to do with it. So it's really just Kent and I running with it, and we distribute them all around here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't
Bill,
know what to do with all the queens that are going to be coming out this weekend, because I wasn't expecting to get like 180 today from the bee lab, and I've got like 90 in my incubator right now too.
well, they just over 6 days after capped or what?
What's that?
I mean, you've got the queen cells, but are they just, when do
So
they get
today we picked up 100 cells and like 80 virgins, and the virgins came out on, I think, Thursday. So we got to do something with those as quickly as possible, and we weren't expecting that either.
Yeah.
He's like, "You can take virgins." I'm like, "Yeah, we can take virgins. Oh, take these too." Like, oh, okay. I mean,
Hey, Ryan.
we knew we were getting some. We just didn't know we were going to get that many. I mean, usually, like, we ask for 100 and we get like 50. But the production has caught up. They were having a little bit of trouble with takes and stuff, and all of a sudden it turned, and now they got a surplus. They're trying to flood a few different areas with the genetics, and his hope is he wants to see how much they spread. So they're going to start doing some genetic testing in a couple of years in places like between where we're distributing and when they're distributing, and they want to see how far between they start losing the pole line stuff, or see if it's spreading very much, or if it's dropping off really quick when you start getting 40 or 50 miles away from where we're at.
So they're kind of looking at the the bees in the trees and that kind of stuff to see whether they can.
Yeah, they'll probably contact a lot of beekeepers and stuff, and just they don't need to test the queens. They just need to get a scoop of worker bees, and they can test the genes, like do the genetic testing on that, and they got certain markers they can look for. Frank seems to think that since they've become so resistant, he really thinks that part is going to spread farther. He says in nature, when you get something that can kind of out survive the other stuff, even though it is a recessive trait, it ends up spreading more. So he's really interested to see how far that's going to spread. His hope is that he's going to see it all the way between Baton Rouge and us. And I don't think he's going to start that testing for another year or two. Like it sounds like that's going to be more towards the end of this program. And who knows, that this program might get lengthened. I don't really know.
Right.
I feel fortunate that I got in on it.
Yeah.
How's it going, Bill?
Busy.
Yeah, hear that.
Delivered 100 bee packages today.
What, did Robert stop by?
Yeah. He brought them in this morning. We delivered them today. I've got 22 packages to drop of mine tomorrow. So.
What, your packages in your yard area or what?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he had, what was it? He said on the Facebook, 800 boxes.
Yep, 800 on the trailer this morning.
He get a new, that ain't the same trailer he had. He used to have a box trailer, I think it was.
Yeah, he had a box trailer. He had him on his open gooseneck this morning because it was hot when he left for Georgia, and it was probably a good thing that he did put him on that open trailer to bring him back this time. So I think it probably saved a lot of bees.
I got to deliver nukes to the club in the morning with the meat shall we, and we're going to distribute tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. When we were hauling back, we had an open truck with racks, but then we would put plywood on the sides and on the front, and that would have a nice sort of an airflow through it. Then we are always coming back, and you come up this way, you get cold or you hit rain or something. Then you had to stop and tarp and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Ryan, we're dry here in Maryland. We need some rain. Hey, Kathy. And yeah, we can definitely use some rain. My son sprayed pre-emergent today. Hopefully, it's supposed to rain Sunday, Saturday night into Sunday.
What is that?
Doesn't let the weeds grow. Doesn't
Yeah.
let them germinate.
Yeah, so hay in the field is up, I don't know, 8 inches or so, and it's getting ready to stalk out, seed out, because we haven't gotten any rain. We need rain bad, real bad.
Hope in South Carolina, I've got honey to test at 15%. Could that be from the drought? I guess
Yep.
if you have, yeah, that and how low with low humidity, which would suck the moisture out, you're getting down to the point there where it's going to get hard to get the honey out of the comb.
Yeah, they like me. I've got honey supers got to come off too, and that was from the early flow.
When did you put them on, Bill?
Early in March.
Really?
Yep.
I gotta go put supers out tomorrow. Privet's starting to get pretty hard down here.
I got to make some nukes up, 5 more nukes for my kid that's overseas and get that done finally. And then hopefully get the rest of my supers put on. Sometime I do that first on mine, get the 5 or 6 more hives supered up and go over there and make them nukes up and should be done with him.
Yeah, when I first saw bloom on the maple, the early bloom,
you mean
started seeing dead nettle, that's when I put supers on. So I've got at least 2 full supers on every hive right now.
Really?
That's got to come off.
They're capped?
Yep. Capped and ready to come off.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know y'all got to flow that early.
Oh yeah.
They must seem like they're always ahead of us. I guess the valley's warmer or something.
I don't know. We had, man, that maple bloom hit and the bees went wild.
What's that maple? Is it real light, I guess?
No, it's kind of a darkish colored honey. And it's really, really sweet.
And this year's gonna be the first year I'm trying to get some spring honey off my bees.
Yeah, it was worth the early supering to do it. That may be all the honey I get this year if we don't get some rain.
Yeah, it's.
What are y'all's main flows up there?
Depends on time of the year. Early, it's maple, redbud, Bartlett pear, cherries, and tree of heaven, and dandelion. Of course, all the dandelions have already gone to seed. So, and then after that, we get locust, black locust. And then after the black locust is tulip poplar. And then after tulip poplar is black walnut.
You got that many walnut trees around your area?
This place is loaded with walnut trees.
Really?
Yeah. And
That's a lot of flows.
Pain to deal with.
Now we got poplar and we got locusts and you got the red maples that start everything. And dandelions have been in bloom a week maybe around here that I seen. Last Sunday when I seen them in my apiary, and then I took some stuff up the road here, and there was somebody had sort of like a field off the side of their yard, and it was all dandelions. I think that was Monday or Tuesday. And
So ripple typically depends on it depends on the drought. If it's a drought year, last year I got, I don't know, about 500. And typically, if it's a good year with no drought, I can get upwards of 900 to 1,000 pounds.
yeah, I mean that's about like I think I got 850 last year, and year before that I got like almost 1,100 pounds. Part of it was bee problems, and the other part, like you say, was drought weather and all. But hopefully, I don't know. I have to say my son's hay fields are looking really sharp. They're everything's bright green.
Y'all are getting rain up there, though, aren't you?
He's been getting rain at the right time. Put the fertilizer down, and a day or two later, it rains for about a half inch.
Yeah.
He just got done up there Monday, I guess it was. 20% chance of rain. We got a half inch. And he had just planted, what's it called? Peas and something else for the cows. Some kind of a haylage.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It's some kind of a pea.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Pea and something else.
Don't ask me what it is, because I know what you're talking about because I've used it. But
yeah, he's going to he's putting that in to get the field prepped where he's going to make haylage bales and get them wrapped. A neighbor of his has a wrapper, and for his cattle for winter. And then he's going to plant alfalfa in the fall.
what mill wrap does he put on those haylage bales?
I don't know. And it's the first time we ever did anything.
You ought to be able to do that plastic wrap like that on that bale bearing, and wrap haylage that way with a small bale.
You mean like
entire cube?
Yeah, but that's not what a bale bearing does.
I know.
Don't wrap. He's gonna round bale it, I think. And he's got a farmer there next to where he lives that's got one of them wrappers that spins it around. Yeah, spins it and turns it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Junior, that's where we're going to get our rain too. But see, it's going to rain here before we go see you up in New Jersey.
Yeah, see, all the rain that he got, it came across and went north of us. The high pressure system pushed it north. We didn't get a drop.
What we got was just to happen, so I was surprised. So anyway, but back to the queen thing. So that's where you're getting them from, and you're getting whatever the genetics that they're trying to develop. And then they're letting you guys breed or use that in your hives in order to spread the genetics within the area.
And we dish it out here. So anybody in the bee club with me can have 3 queens as much as they want.
Oh, man.
It's shocking how few people take me up on it.
Really?
I think it's because they think it's free. There's something wrong with it or something. But yeah,
that's.
I mean, last year I brought to our field day, which is coming up in 2 weeks. I brought, I don't know, like 40 or 50 cells, and they all ended up going home with the president.
Yeah, Doug. No, I don't get any yellow sweet clover. That's that long, tall stuff. Nah, everything's pretty much regulated around here as far as. It's either corn or beans, or I'll say around my area is hay on my fields, and that kind of stuff. And that's pretty much it in my area. There's no, we're kind of living in suburbia here, you might say. There's no really super open spaces like you guys do have out there in the Midwest of Canada. Triticale, peas. That might be it. Burke Meadows. I'm not sure what I didn't. I would have remembered that, but I know it's peas and whatever. I don't know. He's done all that stuff. He got the cattle and stuff.
Ripple effect. Where are you at? If you're in this area, I'd let people come pick up virgins from me.
He's in West Virginia.
That's a little far drive.
Yeah, he's out in Texas.
I usually hand out a little over 100 every Tuesday.
Oh, he is? I thought he was in
Monday.
West Virginia.
He's out in Houston. Yeah, girl, you're up in Michigan. Christmas trees, potatoes, and hay.
So with the queen thing, it was so frustrating my first year because I couldn't get anybody around me to take the queens. Like, it was shocking. I'm like, I will give you stuff that is very hard to get, and not everybody can get the stuff from the bee lab. And like, oh no, what we do works. Now, finally this year, I've got the people around me that are starting to take it, which is good because I got a guy about 3 miles northeast of me. He's got 80 hives. And he was the number one person I was trying to work on. I mean, I really need you to have these genetics. And I got a guy directly north of me. He's got it. And
so what kind of bees did he have prior to yours?
I don't know. I don't really know.
I guess what I'm asking is like, well, what's these? I got these bees and these bees do this.
No, it wasn't like that. I think originally when Frank came and talked to our club, everybody wants to have their splitting done way earlier than when the lab has queens available. So that's what the real problem is, because they want to get all their splits done and get ready for the honey flow. And I mean, Frank's giving us queens now. Yeah, there's a whole lot of uncap recap, Brian. But so they want to have all the splits done before now. So Kent and I do, since we have all the genetics in our yards and we get breeders from them and stuff, we graft early for all those people that want to do the splits earlier. So now they're kind of starting to take the stuff.
Thank you, Junior.
And then we just replenish our stuff with stuff from the bee lab.
Flower Street's got a couple questions for you.
Yeah, I see a lot of uncap recap in the poll a lot. It depends on the mite load. I mean, if there's not a lot of mites, you're not going to see a whole lot of it. There's some. If you get a bunch of mites, you see a lot of it happening. And I'm not treatment free. Everything in the breeding program is treatment free. But as soon as the mite levels go up beyond what I'm okay with, they're out of the program and they get treated.
Right.
About half of my bees are treatment free. The other half, I'm not going to let them just die because the mites get there. And the goal is, so at the bee lab, he says about 80%. They've gotten to where about 80% work and are really high VSH. So you said you can't ever expect it to be 100%. You're gonna have about 20% that is just not gonna have the trait to a high enough degree.
Yeah,
works.
I agree with that. It's a situation where it's a goal to strive, but I don't think you'll ever get 100%.
No, and I mean they've been doing.
I got a question for you, Eddie.
Yeah.
So if you have a queen that you got from the bee lab that has high VSH tendencies, are you seeing a drop off in those tendencies or an increase in those tendencies with her offspring?
I don't really know how to answer that. So maybe my records aren't good enough to keep track of that. I mean, I keep notes on all the stuff in the breeding program. And it seems like about 50%. So we're getting virgins from the bee lab, or mostly we're getting cells. And they give us a couple breeders to graft from also. And it seems like it's about 50, last year at least, it was about 50% scored well enough to where I didn't have to worry about it. Like, I not quite half of my apiary scored harbor 4, but half of my apiary scored at least a harbor 3. Um, if it's not a 4, then it's not going to stay in a breeding program, but I'm not necessarily going to treat it unless the mites are getting out of control. I kind of want to see how they do.
Are you doing any other testing other than Harbo testing?
Mite washes, just mite washes and harbo assays. So the mite washes are to thin them out. So the harbo assays just take a lot of time. I'm not doing a harbo assay on every colony. I mean, the first round of washes is going to weed out a bunch of stuff, and then those get tested, get treated, and then the second round of washes might weed out some more, and then those get treated, and the third round washes weed out some more, and by the fourth round, that pretty much we know which stuff we're going to do harbo assays on. Anything that's still good after, pretty much everything's still good after the third round of washes is what they want us to test. And right now we still are able to bring them to a central location, and Frank and some of the other guys from the lab come out and start doing harbo assays, and we do them with them too now. We do some on our own. I don't like to bring too many frames for them to do and monopolize too much of their time.
Yeah. Okay.
But each year we should see an increase, and that's because we're flooding the area with so many drones, and I expect this year to be a big jump because I figured all the drones we put out 2 years ago were starting to affect the feral populations. We have a lot of feral population down here, and
Yep.
I'm expecting to see a much bigger bump this year than I did last year. But I mean, only time will tell.
Yeah, it takes a long time to build that ring of bees around your yard.
Yeah.
A
I've got
very
my
long
yards
time.
in almost every direction. I don't have there's a couple. There's one direction I just don't want to put anything because there's a big nursery that way, and they spray
Yep.
all kinds of stuff, and it just seems useless to put drone yards out that way. But I've got drone yards in almost every other direction um, that I have filled with drone combs. So I'm flooding with a lot of drones for my bees to mate with. And now I've got other beekeepers that are in different directions too that are taking the stock, which I'd rather do that. I mean, that's easier for me if I can just get other beekeepers in a certain direction to take my stock, and that way I don't have to run another yard over that way. So I'm hoping to get as many people around me to take it as possible. I still got some holdouts. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think when people start talking about how well they're doing, uh, even if people don't care about the whole VSH thing, the bees produce well and they're very, very gentle. I mean, they lay up sheets of brood, and I mean, like I say, I work with a T-shirt 90% of the time.
Yeah. And that's important to know your genetics on these queens, because that way when you do start keeping track of, okay, am I increasing the tendencies or decreasing, you can track them a little closer.
Yeah, and I think this year is going to tell me a lot, and I won't find that out until late in the year. You know, like I say, Frank's goal is for us to eventually get to where we're just like the lab, and that 80% of our stuff is going to express high VSH. We're not there. I mean, we're only grafting from stuff that scores perfect, but I mean, this guy go out and mate with drones. The more drones we can get out there that have the right traits, the better. And I say each year it's going to get better, and I feel like each year we're going to get more and more people. I mean, this year we have so many more people that are taking the queens. I mean, last year I feel like I was having to twist people's arms to take this stuff. It's crazy. But now it seems like word's kind of getting out that, oh, this is a good thing. we're lucky to have access to this,
Yeah.
And I do feel super fortunate that I got into this program and that I do have access to these genetics.
Well, now Uncle Junior was talking about had a couple of nukes with Apivar 1 on
And
one
then he
nuke.
had one mixed with Apivar 1 and 2.
No, I guess they might have ran out, but the first thing of it is Apivar 1, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yep.
And it ain't working very well anyway. And I don't know anything experience-wise when it comes to 2.0, other than the fact it has less amatraz in it than the other stuff does. And it actually has a strip that's more, what would say, it emits it better, I guess.
It does less amatraz in the new one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have
They
thought they would have
reduced
gone
it.
up. That doesn't make sense to me.
They reduced the dosage and called it new and improved.
So same active ingredient, less of it, and the mites are starting to get used to. I don't understand. What am I missing?
The 1.0 strip, they were immune to it. So daggone good and well they're going to be immune to the 2.0. I mean, you might find areas of the country that can still use it, okay? That you might find some bees that have never been exposed to it, and it'll work. But typically, it doesn't work anymore.
Well, Bill, you know something? I just read something on the internet. It was a science article, and they got it. Let's think about it. Australia is the newest place in town in the last 3 years. Well, guess what? They're testing over there, and it's resistant. The mites are resistant to the amatraz over there.
Oh, really?
How is that possible?
Huh?
I said, how is that possible? I mean, they had never been exposed to it.
Well, they had to come from somewhere.
I guess that's true.
They weren't born in Australia, so they had to go. They had to be imported from somewhere. So, wow.
Yeah, I don't know where I've seen it on Facebook or something.
Tom, that's glad to hear about them acorn frames. I'm glad you're having good luck with them. So I put a new product on the website today.
What was that?
Wax dip boxes.
Are you dipping them, or are you getting them that way?
I'm buying the raw box and having them dipped.
I would really like to get boxes wax dipped. It kind of costs a lot.
Yeah, dipping is not for everybody. I'm telling you, dude, it is not for everybody. Because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of work. I'll just say that. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, dipping takes a long time.
It's not that it's and each run takes a long time, but you're to get production done, you're out there all day long, regardless of the temperature.
I mean, it's got to take a long time just to get the wax up to temperature, I would expect.
Nah, not really.
No?
No. I mean, I watched the guy dip, and it took him about 2 hours to get the wax to temperature.
Okay.
And then he was off and running.
I was looking into getting Jeff's buddy to dip a bunch of stuff for me this year, but then I ended up getting a deal on a couple pallets that were already treated and painted, and I went that route, which saved me. I thought I was going to put stuff together. I just didn't have time. Like I'm always behind.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Keep saying to myself, as soon as I stop growing and I get to where I want to be, I won't be behind anymore. But that probably is not true.
That's when you get behind even further.
This year made me kind of rethink my whole goal of the 300 hives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that's where I want to be, but I got to change the way I did early management because I had way too many swarms get away from me this year. I tried to just split stuff as it needed to be split, and I spread out too far, and I just didn't catch too many. So much stuff swarmed down here that had a lot of room. It just seemed like the space didn't matter. I think we just had such a good, heavy flow of nectar and pollen that they were just going to swarm. I should have just split everything as soon as I saw the first stuff wanting to swarm. That's what I'm going to do next year. But I get some new locations, so I can just split everything in half and bring it to the other spots. I guess that'll put me over 300 too. So just going to do it differently. No, Eddie does not. Well, Eddie sometimes has a helper or two from the club. There are a few people that want to come and hang out and learn here and there, but for the most part, it's just me.
There it goes. I found it. As of April 2026, Amitraz resistance and Varroa mites have been confirmed in southeast Queensland and the northern southwest Wales, according to the Australian Honeybee Industry Council. Development poses a significant threat to Australian beekeeping as it indicates a new insertion of mites separate from the 2022 infestation, which resistance also found in priathoid treated populations. All that. Says impact Amitraz-based treatments such as Aprovar and APIT-RAZ show reduced efficiency with some complete treatment failures reported. Well,
Wow.
this is likely a new distinct inclusion of Varroa mites separate from the 2022 NSW outbreak.
No, Tom, 300 is my. I don't want to go over the 300 number. The plan is 100 production hives and 200 build bees.
Hey, George. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I always wanted to get, I thought I wanted to get up 50, 60, whatever. Now I'm going the opposite direction.
Who knows? That might happen to me. I get to where I want to be, and it might be this is too much.
Yeah, it's what it amounts to. Yeah, Tom, I'm feeling better as far as the cold goes. It's pretty much gone. I finally got my medication today from the pharmacy. Finally got it to go through. I was surprised that we didn't have any problems with the darn insurance company. Um, DC, I wanted that too, 30 to 40 or so. Now I'm down to around 24. And I'm like, this is just right for me.
Got Joey Rawls down here is always saying he wants to be at 20, but he's always way higher than that. He said, I've been working towards 20 for a long time. He's probably somewhere between 40 and 60.
Yeah, Rob, we know about Nora. It treats the bees and makes their eggs sterile and all that stuff. It's relatively new. Not a lot of infield data on that yet. And all that kind of stuff. Um, Electrical temperature control? No, not that I know of. Not when you got 30 or 40 hives. That doesn't work. I mean, I remember when that first came out, what, 10, 15 years ago? Then it's kind of resurfaced here recently. Might be fine for a few hives. No. Yeah, that's right, DC. The biggest thing is whether you have enough time to manage all that properly, and whether you can get it all done yourself. That's my biggest problem. Is time, and it's only me and all that. So yeah, it just sterilizes them, Junior.
Isn't it fairly costly too? The
What's
Varroa?
that?
The
Oh,
Varroa.
The
The
raw
Varroa?
highly,
Yeah.
highly costly, quite costly. What's that, Clay? What Nora messes with the queen sperm, maybe? Hey, Mark. It depends. I mean, like I say, it's just I'm thinking what $22 per deep box for no raw. Forget that. It's too much money. Well, Tom, I don't think anybody's really doubting it. It's just it's new. Let somebody else try it. I'm not. You know.
So you're talking about Amatraz and everything and being mites being resistant to it. Looking through EPA and USDA website, the earliest published article noting anything in it about resistance of the Amatraz and fluvinate and coumaphos was published in 1999 in a study. And that study was done in Germany. And then it goes on. The next one that was published in 2009. And then there's 2017, 2020, 21, 23, 24, and 25, stating that Varroa was resistance to Amatraz, Amaplex, which is a brand name of Amatraz, and Coumaphos and fluvinate.
Well, then the other two,
They were man-made chemicals.
but they were outlawed or whatever, got rid of them.
They were outlawed a long time ago.
Don't they
Yeah.
still use them in Europe? Coumaphos and fluvalinate?
Now, I think they got rid of all that stuff years ago.
They got rid of that years ago, but the amitraz, the first study that says anything about resistance to, the Varroa mite having resistance to it was 1999. That was the first time somebody put it in writing, put it that way.
Yeah, as far as that, Uncle Junior, I understand. I think Tom might know something about this, where they are coming out with where you can add the product to sugar water when you're feeding it you can buy a tote of it or something. It'd be cheaper. I think it was something like that. Well, didn't Nora only buy Man Lake too?
Yeah.
I'm sure they got
I think they bought the rights to it.
something like that. Anyway, I'll stick with the organics for right now.
Yeah, I just do the Apiguard and OA Vapor now. I'd like to try
Formic.
Formic, but I'm just afraid of it with our temperatures and humidity down here.
You have to do that in the wintertime. Middle of January or something like that when it's 70 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Oh yeah,
I told that to Brad from H and Homestead. I said, look, when I do it up here, you guys are still in the heat of the summer, which is in September. And I said, you guys got to think about mite treatments through, quote, the winter months, January, February, or December, January, February, when it's the coolest at your time.
We don't get winter months. We get like winter.
Days. You only get winter days, 2 to 3 days of winter a year.
It's ridiculous.
But then you got the sweats and the humidity and crap like that down there. I don't see how y'all stand it.
We don't love it.
I guess you get used to it.
I
got my new eye doctor, and she's from down around Baton Rouge originally. And she says, he says, everybody's got pools down there. He says, up here, we have to put heaters in our pools. Down there, you got to put chillers on down there. He says, you install chillers on your pools down there in order to keep the water cool.
Yes, put an giant ice maker on it.
No joke either. That's the truth. It's like, man.
Yeah, the humidity, I think it was 99%, which is just nuts.
Man Lake has different size packages of Varroa. A 2-pack, that's what it takes to treat one hive for a complete year, is $22. A 12-pack is $114, and then it goes to the original size pack, and it doesn't tell me how many's in that package, and that's $216.
Hey, Bob. Yeah. Yeah, you can buy bigger packs, whatever.
Oh, I'm hoping that just the genetics and the organic stuff is going to be all I ever really need down here. And I'm hoping to get. I mean, I'd love to get away from the organic acids, but like I say, I don't think I'll ever get 100% treatment free because I'm just not willing to let too many bees die of mites.
So Bob Walker, where are you at in Tennessee? Bee related or just visiting? Okay. $68 up there in Saskatchewan for Nora. Yeah. It anyway, that's just the way it is. Mites are mites. Just something we got to do.
Yeah. So have you started grafting up there yet, Charlie?
I've been thinking about it. It's been warm enough for sure. Then it's supposed to drop down, I think, a day or two in the freezing temperatures, and then it's after that it seems to be swinging back up. So yeah, we're not the 1st of May yet, but we're within what 2 weeks. So you probably could set the cell builder up.
And how do you do a cell builder?
I just do a nuke and put.
Queenless.
I do queenless nuke. I like medium, so I put 10 frames in of cat brood and bees and let it hatch out within about 7 to 10 days, and then you can graft into it. And I graft about 30 cells, and last year I got 28 out of 30 and all that. Hey Mike, I know Travis already said you got to wait around till the 30th of this month for EPA, so hopefully you'll have a good turnout with them. Of course, they're going to probably drag their feet anyway with your extended release. Anybody else wants to jump in? Come on in. Hey, Dave. But, like I say, I got to get the honey supers on. I got to get this. I got a boy that I help mentor, and he's over there in the Middle East, I'll say, taking care of business. So I got to help him out a little bit. I got 5 more nukes to split for his father to take care of the business, to sell for him. Hopefully I can get that done. Hopefully I get my supers on the last of my hives that I got to mess with. I think I should have had them on at least a week or so ahead of time than what I did now. And all that. So, yeah. That's where I'm at with my stuff. I've been looking at the ones I did 4 hives a couple evenings ago. And the amount of bees in there just wasn't up to it wasn't up to Demery standards. And I actually wound up taking a 3rd box off. Hey, Joe.
Hello.
And just putting the queen excluder on and putting the honey box on top for now. I just have to watch them. They seem like there's a lot of bees or open brood, but not lots of slabs of cat brood. I don't know whether it's because we haven't been, and it's only been a week or two of nice warm weather. prior to that, it's been up and down. You know, you get a really nice day, and then you get 5 lousy cold days. So I don't know. Hey, Bracken, glad to see that you got your bees back from Cali. So, Joe, what's happening, man?
Not too much. Trying to work through all these double screen splits that I started. I bit off a little bit more than I can chew with it, I think.
Oh,
Some of them
really?
are going good and some of them not so well. So it's an adventure. It's a new learning experience, that's for sure.
What, using a double screen bottom or a double screen board
Yeah,
for
it's the
like?
first time doing the double screens, and the first time I did 18 of them. So that was a lot for me for this year.
Yeah, and you're expanding, obviously.
Yep. I had a couple that I must have missed queen cells in because I went through one today. I've got they released the mated queen that I introduced, and they have 4 capped queen cells in the box.
Yeah,
Don't know how
I've seen.
that worked out.
Well, they like their own kinfolk, so you can just go ahead and either utilize the queen cells or scratch them.
Yeah, I cut them out. I mean, the new mated queen's in there running around. They let her out and haven't killed her yet, so I just took out the 4 capped
Yeah.
cells and got rid of them.
Well, put that in some other another split and let the cells take care of the thing. Just takes longer.
I got too many splits right now.
Yeah, we all want
I
all
got
this.
one-
Then you realize how much work's involved.
Yeah, I got one that went really, really defensive, really mean for some reason. I haven't figured out why. So far, I've split it. I did a double screen split on it, and then the bottom box was just packed full of bees. And as soon as I walked near the colony, they're all over me. I took out a 5-frame split out of that, trying to reduce the population. Still consisted. So I took 2 more 2-frame splits out of it. So I've got it split out 5 different ways, and finally found the queen in one of the 5-frame nuke boxes. But I couldn't even with it to even try to find her. So I finally found her today. She ended up in one of the side boxes. So that
So
one's
you-
gonna give me
She's
some
wound up.
hassle.
She's going to be beheaded lately, later.
Was
Well, yeah, there's a guy was on the other. Well, you came in about the time I left, I think. Some guy was on the other chat, and he had a super strong hive and everything else, but now they're pinging him and everything else, you know. And I said, well, and because the bees it was a great hive last year, but they're requeening themselves. I said, yeah, they got crappy genetics somewhere. This is mean genetics. Now you got a queen issue and all that. So he wants to requeen.
Yeah, like I said, there's just so many bees. I couldn't find the queen until I split it down into four or 5 different boxes. I was finally able to find her.
Yeah, sometimes when I got to find one, I'll shake everything through an excluder.
I've
I've done
done
that
that.
a lot more this year than usual. But I've just been in a hurry, and there's been a lot of things I had to find the queen for, and I just got some extra boxes and start shaking through an excluder. You know, which
This
is
one, I get within 20 yards of them, and they're pinging at me. So the last thing I was going to do was stand and shake 10 frames through a excluder.
Yeah, that's what this other guy was talking about. Same situation. He's mowing the grass or whatever, and you know he's got an acre of ground or whatever, and you know bees in the backyard, and I guess they got kids too. So
sometimes you can take those hives and bring an extra box, put it in the location that the hive was, and move that one farther away and do the shaking away from the original location. And most of the field bees go to that original location, and other ones are being mean. I have had to do that in other people's yards before.
It kind of worked out. I ended up with 4 extra 5-frame boxes, so I just went through my other colonies and pulled a frame of eggs out of 4 different colonies, and put in those 4 boxes. I'll just let them raise a queen from other colonies.
right. You got honey supers on, I'm sure.
Yeah, pretty much everything's got them on now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my.
Where are you at, Joe?
Central Pennsylvania, north of Charlie and Bill.
He's north of where Rob lives. House that drops the bees off.
I used to be a good customer of Rob's.
That's until you learn how to keep bees alive from year to year, right?
Yeah, I always just wanted to have more. I always kept some alive through the year, but then I wanted to add to it, so I'd be back. Hey, I need a couple more packages. I need a couple more packages, and this year I finally didn't need to. I told them that at the one conference.
Yeah, but what was it you were telling me? You know that you were doing stuff and you were dying or something or another. Then you
Yeah, I was
finally-
losing about 50% every year. I wasn't losing them all, but I was losing too much to really carry through to make a good crop the next year. This is the first year that I got about 80% through from what I had last year, so it put me in a lot better position this year.
I think you started treating or something on it, or treating differently.
Yeah, I stopped taking fall honey and feeding a lot more in the fall.
That's what it was. Yeah, you were feeding.
Yep. Yeah, they're just too weak going into the winter, I think, for most of them. And I
Well,
don't.
leave the fall honey on there because really there isn't any fall honey that comes in. At least for me, it doesn't that much. I got to feed them sugar water. You know, all that kind of stuff. But so, any other exciting things at the shop, Bill?
Just the addition of the wax dip boxes this week, and
Then you got queens. For sale. You got
there's
queens.
yep, I got queens. So tomorrow's gonna be a long day again.
Yeah, well, it's that time of year for the bee shop, I guess.
Yep, it's supposed to be cold next week at night.
It's supposed to be
Supposed to be
cold
down in
here.
the 20s.
Yeah, well, in the 30s here for a night or two, maybe. After that, it's back up pretty good. All that. Uh, yeah, Rick Bee Collector, you got a third year queen. She's probably on her way out if she gets it through the winter time for sure. I would say. Hey, Honeybee Live. Yeah, Junior, that's how we do it, or how he done it. Was full assembled boxes. That's the way you do it that I've ever seen. All that.
Wow, tired tonight.
Yeah.
Can't do unassembled, Uncle Junior. We only do assembled.
Probably couldn't get the glue to work if you dipped them beforehand, huh?
Yeah, if you dip unassembled, then your glue is not going to stick.
You know, and then I guess even though it heats the box up, it doesn't. It lets the glue suck in better, I guess.
Yeah,
Or
the
does
glue has more of a foundation on a raw box than it does on a wax dip box.
Yeah, but I guess when you dip that wax box, it doesn't rejuvenate the liquid portion
No,
of
it does not melt the glue out of the joint
it. That's what I'm saying.
unless you overdo it or overheat it.
How many boxes can Will do at a time? 4?
4 4 mediums. And I think it's 3 deeps. Because he'll put 2 in and then set 1 down in the center, so it's 3. Yeah,
On the deeps, you mean?
yeah, on the deeps.
So, did you have a big crowd for that last weekend?
We dipped quite a bit of stuff. Quite a bit.
Well, I know the ones up around Chester up there. They usually have dipping parties, I guess you'd call them. And you kind of have to, I guess you call it scheduling. You know, hey, I'm coming. You know, they kind of know how many boxes they got to get done.
Yep.
All that. Well, Tom, you can go out and sit on 200 hives. I'm not.
That's a good job for you, Tom. Go out there and sit on and keep them warm. Like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie, I was thinking about something that Zach Lamas was talking about at Chester County, and might be interest to Eddie or Bill too as well. And something I was thinking about. He was talking about that they were testing the queens for Varroa, that the Varroa were feeding on the queens, and there was a much higher percentage of them feeding on queens in the first, I think it was 36 hours after they hatched out, and that it may be a good idea. And the way I understood it, a good idea to keep them in the incubator for the first 36 hours after they hatch before they're introduced to the colonies. I just remember him talking about that, or if you agreed with that, or
I don't remember that.
that right way.
I know I was talking to him about viral loads, where if the queen's got a virus within her, every time she lays an egg, all those eggs have the viruses in them. And if they happen to be turned into queen cells, those viruses are going with the queens too.
Yeah, and that was because they were getting fed on by Varroa mostly in the first 36 hours after they hatched. And that's when they were most susceptible to it.
Okay.
So I don't know if anybody else has heard that or read that or seen anything on that. Because I was thinking when I was doing my queen grafting, based on that, I was kind of thinking about keep them in an incubator for an extra couple days.
After they're hatched?
They don't do well in the incubator after they emerge.
No, you got to get them in there when they get fed by the other bees.
Yeah, I take mine and I put them in a bank before they emerge. I let them emerge in a bank now. I used to let them emerge in the incubator, and it was killing me because you got to go check it like every hour.
Yeah, that's what I
away.
did last year was put them in a bank about a day and a half prior to them emerging. So, Bracken, how's it going, buddy? You got the bees back?
Yeah.
I seen one of your videos. I think it was. They look pretty darn strong.
Yeah, they did. They came back pretty good.
Where's your microphone, Bracken? I can hardly hear you.
I barely hear you.
Yeah,
Now?
it's kind of echoey. Is it you got a mic or you got a computer mic?
We lost him.
Man.
Yeah, so I guess you got to choose to figure out some way to feed them in the incubator or hope that the Varroa don't get to them in the first couple of days.
I let
You
mine.
can
I
feed
put
them in
it
an
in-
incubator, but I don't think it's near as good as having bees feed them. Like I used to take some crystallized honey and put it in a little version of roller cages, and put little. They have a little reservoir, it's like in the top of them. And I put some crystallized honey, and I put water in the other ones, and they'll keep them alive. But when I started doing it in a bank, then the queens just did so much better.
That's what I did.
Right away when they first come out, they get fed what they're supposed to be fed.
Okay.
That better?
Yeah, that's better, Bracken.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it was connected to my hearing aids.
So your bees are back, and now what are you going to do with them? Split them?
Yep, splitting them tomorrow. And then get them out into the out yards. Yep, I brought them back and the weather turned to crap, so I haven't been able to do anything. It's been so cold, and last night's low was like 23 degrees.
Really?
Today's high's only been 41-ish.
Mm.
So Utah's
Yeah, because you were having some really warm weather there while they were away, and things were blooming and everything else.
Oh yeah, we had 80s, 86 degrees in February, and now we're getting 41 degrees in whatever month it is.
Hey, Kevin.
But,
Yeah.
it looked really good. The travel was good. The trip was good. Other than fuel was $8 a gallon, and
That was California prices.
yeah,
Wow.
well, from about Elko, Nevada, and past was over $7 a gallon. 7.40 all the way up to $8.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then you were what? Was that your trailer? You were that gooseneck, or was that a neighbor's or something?
That's my neighbor's.
I mean, that's a slick looking outfit. You know, you had what about? Was it 40 or 100 hives on that thing?
124.
Okay.
Yeah. He says my mic sounds terrible still. Does it still sound bad?
All right, we can hear you now.
Oh.
Yeah, we're good. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
You had 140 hives out there to California for the almonds.
124.
124.
Yeah.
And then
I had 10 that didn't make grade
well, that's not bad.
out of my, so I only sent, 48 were mine, 48 were my buddies, and 28 were Brad's, for a total of 124. I had 10 that didn't make it. The other kid had 6, I think, and Brad had 1 that didn't make it. But it was good. It was a good
Now,
trip.
They didn't make it because you just didn't have enough bees in there? Are they dead outs or what?
No, they weren't. Yeah, they weren't up to grade. They still went into the almonds. I just didn't get paid for them. So they'll grade them.
I mean, before you went out there, you were showing in your video, you were grading, A, B, C type grade thing.
Yeah, and so the ones that I sent that were C's that I didn't think were going to do very good, those are the ones that didn't do very good.
Okay.
But I sent them regardless because they would have.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. They might have done better. They might have been okay here, but you run you're sending them anyways, Plus, and I know I sent a couple to make sure my pallets were full because it's really hard to send. You can't send a pallet that's only got 3 hives on it.
Right.
Because they won't stack on the truck.
Well, at least the main thing about it is that your grading system here at the house is definitely spot on.
Yeah, it was pretty consistent.
When you got an A, it's going to pass out there, and a B is going to pass. And if you got a C here, you most likely know it's not going to pass.
Yep, and I got my grading from Oki, from the guy who looks at them, and he's the one. He says grade them like this. So that's how I graded them. But yeah, they did good. Full of brood, man. They're gonna next week's supposed to be pretty warm, and I think they're gonna explode. There's sheets and sheets of brood in those boxes. But right now it's so cold, they're not doing anything. They're just keeping it all warm.
Right. But you were saying, next year you'll probably ship 100 of your own out there, maybe.
That's the goal. He wants me to send a semi-load this next year, but they won't all be my bees. I don't know if I can come up with enough people to send, what is a semi, 430, 432?
I'm not sure. Kevin, won't you?
400.
Kevin, you can tell us that. It's in the chat.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Something.
like 440, 430.
Yeah. But
But you got Okie out there, and it sounded like to me you got somebody that you can depend on.
yeah,
And
he's good.
and
We went out early. We went to dinner and talked bees, and yeah, he is a good dude. I got lucky there.
now you took them out there and you put them in the holding yard, and then what's Okie do? Grab them up and put them on a tractor and trailer, or what?
So I drove them down, drop them off, and then once they're ready for the almonds, Oki loads them and puts them on a trailer and takes them into the almonds, and then takes care of them in the almonds. He feeds them, treats them, maintains them, and then he brings them back to the holding yard and he shakes some of the bees for his queen rearing operation because he raises queens.
Right.
And so I think he said this year he shook 210 pounds of bees out of my boxes,
Yeah.
and
Good Lord.
you can even tell like my boxes. Yeah,
They're still full.
they're still just packed. But he doesn't shake a whole bunch from each hive. Or from one hive, he shakes a whole bunch of hives and shakes, 3 or 4 frames worth.
Right.
He's really good. He's got a queen excluder on his shaker, so he's pretty good at not shaking the queen.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I was watching that one video of what's a gal out there in Michigan. She was out there at Oliveris, and they had that one shaker box. It's kind of like on an angle, and it's got queen and drone excluder there and all that stuff. And they were shaking frames.
I went and met Randy Oliver. That was cool.
Yeah. Well, was he out? Where was he out there at?
He was at his house. I went and picked up some queen cells.
Oh, okay, over at his place. Okay.
Yeah, I had it was kind of a connected story. A guy reached out to me and asked if I would bring home 2 pallets worth of bees home that he had bought through Oki.
Okay.
And I says, yeah, but I'm going to charge you freight, And he says, that's fine. He says, I'm actually going to go down there and pick up some queen cells. He says, if I come help you, he says, will that, take any of the price off? And I says, well, why don't you just pay me in queen cells instead? Because he's like, to me, it was, either pay me some money or try these out. So he got me 30 queen cells to try out. But yeah, we went and picked them up right from Randy Oliver himself. We showed up and he was weed whacking his yards in his shorts and he had flip flops on, but shaggy t-shirt and just, hey guys, what's up? He was the nicest dude. I sat and talked to him for a little bit and picked his brain about a couple things. I was kind of too intimidated to talk to him, so
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, was it
bees
his brand?
everywhere. Go ahead.
Was that his queens? The what are they called?
The Golden West.
Golden West.
Yep. Yeah, he had pulled them right out like the day before, and they were in an incubator, and yeah, he gave them to us. Well, not gave them to us, but yeah. But man, he had nukes like right out of his front door. Like you walk out of the house, and he has nukes all over the place. Like they were up and down the driveway. It was crazy. I gotta hurry and take a phone call. My wife's called me twice now.
All right. But that's pretty cool. Thank you, Brian, for popcorn money. Keep the lights on. You might as well come on too, Brian, while you're at it. It'll make it 6 of us. But that's pretty cool. I'm glad to hear that Bracken's doing better out there. I'll have to get Will. Will's going to have to hook up with Bracken and get educated. If he
Yeah.
wants to keep sending stuff out there. I've never charged it actually, Gary, on my hive lifter. I've got that solar panel on there, and when it's on, you turn the switch on and you hook it up. It's charging with solar, and the way I use mine is I get it up to a certain level, and then I just kind of raise the arms up and down, and I can hook into the boxes, and just it's kind of like a scissor or a seesaw lift. I don't have to run it up and down in order to drain a lot of juice out of it.
Yeah, I just let mine sit outside with the solar panel on it.
Yeah, you got the one like mine, Joe, or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's never been plugged in other than just to the solar panel.
Yeah. Tom says 460 bees on a trailer. Yeah, I don't like say, Gary, I don't run mine up and down like Joey has the one that's like a regular hand truck, and you have to run that motor up and down in order to keep lifting everything. I just get it in there and hook it in, push down on it, and it pops up. I'm good. Yeah, chainsaw Charlie. Okay. That's been a while since you've been in here. But like I say, I haven't charged mine as far as that goes. Yeah, Hope, if you're lifting that kind of stuff, you got to get a lifter. I don't know. I know that Will Toothaker's got one, and he even though he's got like a skid steer loader with forks for his pallets and stuff, there's a lot of times some of his stuff isn't on pallets, so he's lifting. I helped him one night moving some bees, and lifting up individual hives and stuff it was way better than trying to carry that stuff, that's for sure. And all. So, but you haven't really charged yours, have you, Joe? Except for the
No, like I said, it's never been plugged into electric.
Yeah, I've never put mine in the electric box at all, and I've had mine for a couple of years or more. I'll get out there on a nice, bright, sunny day on Saturday afternoon or whatever. I'll plug that thing in, and it'll do some charging on it, on how much of it. And then I turn it off all the time and, put it away.
No, I just leave the solar panel plugged into it. It stays plugged in all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I turn it off, sometimes I don't. I never know if it's on or off till I go to use it.
Yeah. Tom, you got that there. I call it a mule. Or is it called the mule? It's the little track machines you're running.
Yeah, you're right. I call it a ride-on. Yep, it's a mule, a ride-on, whatever you want to call it.
They'll lift up.
Yeah, it still lifts.
If you had one of them, I think they're ideal because they're small, compact.
Yeah.
And you could probably pick up at least, I don't know whether you could pick up a 4-way pallet with that or not. Can you do that?
Yeah, you can.
Pick up a 4-way pallet loaded up with boxes?
Yep.
Is it like a skid steer or something?
It's a ride-on skid steer.
It's the one you see them like these landscapers. They got little teeny tracks, and it's kind of like one of them stand-up riding lawnmowers, but you're in the back, and it's got a set of arms.
Okay.
But think Bobcat makes them, but they had a name for them. Was it mule? Was it a mule? They call it.
Yeah, it's a mule. Um, Help me out here, Tom. What else they call them besides a mule? Some people call them ride-ons. Oh, what the hell are those things called?
Dingoes. Is that what you're talking about? Is a dingo?
Mini track loader.
Oh, dingo. That's it. I knew
Dingo's a manufacturer.
Yeah,
Yep.
dingoes.
they were called ding. They first come out. They were dingoes, and then other people started, making them.
This is what you need. This is what they loaded me with.
I
Look at
seen that on your video there.
That
Hummerbee.
That's
No, it
not,
wasn't a Hummerbee.
that's something else.
It's not a Hummerbee. It's a. Oh, what brand? What is that?
I don't know. It's like Chinese to me.
That's exactly what it is. But that thing was freaking sweet. Yeah, I can't remember what the brand of it was called.
Yeah. Now see, Tom's got a Bobcat because they call it an MT 100. I guess that's a mountain tiger instead of a Bobcat.
No, it's a mini track is what the MT
Mini
stands for.
All right. Now a friend of mine, he's got a Hummerbee. He bought used. It's a nice looking machine. It works well. Yeah, Scully motors. That's the ones with a little thing you stand on.
All right, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna take my electric hive lifter and go home.
All right.
Talk to
We'll
you guys
catch you
soon.
later.
Thanks.
I'll
See ya.
catch you later, Joe.
See ya.
See ya. So
Yeah, that's what you got to get.
that's what
That's
we're
a
talking
dingo.
about.
That's it right there.
That's it right there.
Dingoes.
Okay, Brian. Thanks.
Look, I can just see Charlie out there with a little hat on like that.
You can too.
I look at that picture and say that has got to be.
In
There's no
shorts.
weight there. In order.
You're
I
the
don't see how-
counterweight.
Yeah, you'd
Yeah,
have to have a
you're
counterweight or something.
Please, Charlie, will you wear an outfit like that and get one of those?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
I think that, hey, Bracken, I think that picture's a little bit photoshopped with the load that he got on the forks.
Oh
That's
yeah,
for sure.
totally. Well, it's tires. The load you can't tell, but the load is actually a pallet of probably empty tires. So
Probably.
just yeah. So looks can be deceiving.
Eddie, how many hives can you look at with?
So
in a
I
day?
don't have 300 hives right now. That's the goal. I'm hovering right around 150. It depends on the day and what's going on. Honestly, I have gotten through 100 in a day, and that's a
Kind of depends on what you're doing too.
yeah. It depends what you're doing, I don't usually go through 100 hives in a day though. I've had to do it before.
Right.
I mean, when I go to a yard, I usually try to get. I don't actually go through everything in the yard all the time. I look at the notes and see what I need to do. Pretty much, I try to take notes on everything every time I go in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry, and I just gotta get in and check, see what I'm supposed to get back to, and just hit those.
Yeah, Eric, you can just get bigger and just make, you don't have to wait to get bigger. Just you get the toy and it makes life easier. Always
Yeah.
remember one thing: it's cheaper to buy the toy than it is to try to fix your back. You can have $1
I
million.
once cry once.
That's right.
Toys first.
You can have $1 million and you'll never get your back if you mess it
Right.
up bad.
Charlie can get one of those off Temu.
I got all them toys up here. The thing is, we don't have them little ones. I got this. My son's got 2 skid steers. He's got a case. He's got a, let's see, not a Toyota. What's it called? Kubota. Kubota.
Kubota.
He's got a new Kubota. He's got a used case. And I hate skid steers, climbing in and climbing out of them things. I'd give me a tractor with a front end loader.
You need a JCB skid steer. Have you seen those?
I seen that one. It was on the side like that with the arm. I said, I showed him that. He says, yeah, it's $100,000 or whatever. You got a phone call, Bracken?
Yep, I got to get going.
All right,
Yeah.
Bracken. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
And I've thought about a hive lifter many a times, but I helped Jeff pull last year, and I feel like it slows. It was a lot slower than I would have thought it would have been.
Now, it depends on what you're doing with it. Now, me, if I do if I'm doing a demery where I got to get down into the brood chamber, and I got, let's say, 2 honey supers and maybe a brood box up on top of that where you put the cap brood in or something, I can go in there, pop those 3 hives, that 3 boxes on the top off the bottom brood chamber, hook into that hive lifter and move that whole 3 boxes as a unit. And the bees are not all up in the air and all mad and carrying on because as far as they're concerned, the only places where they're confused is right where I broke the hives apart. And I don't have to lift any of that stuff. And yeah, it takes me a little bit more time per se, but not that much. Once you kind of what you're doing now, I was out there, messing with, I had to pull some supers off and check frames. And yeah, I'm not going to be using it then with that. And that's where my 4-foot or 40-inch aluminum Harbor Freight benches come in. Talk about a back saver. That's a back saver.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to bend over nothing, hardly. Because they're like 16 inches up off the ground. You put yourself a top upside down. And all you got to do is make a lateral move from the hive to the right or to the left, depending on what you are used to, and put that box right on top of that bench. You don't have to bend over to pick the bench up. You picked it up. And that aluminum bench, I think, weighs 10 pounds, something like that, at the most. And you can put 2 upside down telly covers to catch any bees that are falling off. You can put your boxes right on top of that thing. It works beautiful. So, what do you got, Mark? One of the benches?
I don't think they sell them anymore, do they?
What's that?
Harbor Freight doesn't sell those benches anymore, do they?
Yeah, they do. Franklin bench. They're made for standing on doing spackling and stuff like that.
What is a 40-inch bench?
Yep, 40-inch bench. $59, something like that. Sometimes you can get them on sale for $40, $35, $39.99.
Like it's 40 inches tall.
40 inches long.
How tall is it?
16 inches tall. You got folding legs. You can fold it all. You fold the legs in, store it away, or you flip the legs out and you got little clamps that you clip on. There's like a little hook. It hooks around this knob. That way the legs don't fold on you.
All my stands are right at 20 inches tall. which is great until you start stacking honey supers up kind of high. But it's at the height where I don't have to be bent over at all when I'm going through the hives.
What? I mean,
Like my stands are 20 inches.
oh, your stands.
All my hive stands are 20
The
inches.
problem with that is like my stands right there. I used to have them 16 inches off the ground or something like that. And then you get all them honey supers up there.
Right.
And then
That's
you're
where the
up on
problem
a
is.
ladder trying to do that. And I'm like, forget this. So I went and got cat blocks that are like 3.5 inches tall. And then put my racks on top of that. And I've dropped it down at least 6 inches or 8 inches and all that. And it's not as bad.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in them more when it's just without the honey supers. It's worth it for me to have them taller than that. And I'm just not going to let them get too many supers on. I'm going to start pulling them off.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once you're, if they go through them supers and their cap, keep pulling the honey out as you're, maybe frame by frame, depending on how it's working out for you, and that way you keep the honey supers low.
Yeah, I let one last year get a third deep super on it, and it was not good. I was trying to get somebody to come help me. It was just 1 yard, one hive that got that high, and I ended up doing it by myself, but I could have gotten hurt. It was not good because the bottom of the box was like about my forehead level. It was too heavy to be lifting something up like that. It was easy to put it on because it was just foundation when it went up there.
Yeah, and
So
Junior
I went
said
out
they
to
were selling them for $8 a piece. I wish I'd have known that. I'd have been there and bought 10 of them. But I got 2 of them. Instead of me carrying them up and down the line, I got them down at one end of the hive area there. I got it in my tool shed there, the red tool shed. The Chevrolet tool shed there. Keep it in there. And then on the other end, I got it underneath my tote of Pro Suite and all that. Yeah, I guess that was the biggest news. Last Sunday, I sold my camper. Then went
What, the
down.
one in the picture there?
Yeah, I sold it.
Oh
Didn't you
no.
Didn't you watch my short video on that? I got
No, I didn't see that one.
I got over 2,000 views on that thing.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to bow out, y'all. I got Wendy trying to get in touch with me, and plus I gotta get up really early to deliver the nukes. Thanks for
Yep.
having me on.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah,
Eddie,
man.
glad that you come on. I was interested about those queens and the genetics and things of that nature. So, yeah, well, have a good day tomorrow selling nukes or whatever, or passing them out.
Yeah, we're just passing them out. They've already been bought and stuff, and then I got to go deal with getting a whole bunch of queens in. So, y'all have a good night.
Yep.
Yeah, you too, Eddie.
Yeah, Mark Zener. It's Franklin 40-inch lightweight aluminum work platform.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I think it's about 9 or 10 pounds in weight. You can pick it up with one hand, walk around with it. You can sit
Yeah.
on it. You get tired, you got a nice bench to sit on. Let me tell you, I did that yesterday evening. And a lot of times, if I'm working and doing multiple things with multiple mediums and stuff like that, I'll have one on my left and one on my right. So I got everything is up on a high bench, and I can swing stuff around and put the medium super on there. You don't have to bend over. Saves your back tremendously.
Yep.
And on there, especially if you get up in the round where I got my nukes there. It's so versatile about, when you're, taking if like for me, if you got like a 5/5, deep nuke, you can put the lid upside down and set that nuke over there out of the way if you're digging in the bottom box. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, Brian, sometimes you'll run in a deal, especially if you're one of those Harbor Freight, members, I guess it is when you'll get like $10 off occasionally, sometimes $20.
Yeah.
But of course, sometimes I don't buy a lot of Harbor Freight type stuff, and it ain't really worth my money to buy a membership, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, but sometimes you need it,
Like I say, I bought, and then they put a Harbor Freight up here close to where I go to my medical doctor, right next door, actually, in the same shopping center. And they had my darn truck, that other truck I used to have, I could stand alongside of it, reach over and grab pretty much everything out of the bed when I had boxes or tools or whatever. And that new pickup truck is, I think, like 4 inches taller, 3 or 4 inches taller. And I just can't reach over. I actually have a big hook to drag stuff out of at the back. I had it made. So they happen to have a, what would you call it? A step stool, I guess you would call it, or a bench, or a step or a bench or whatever you want to call it. Basically, same thing as a Franklin. Only it's about 16 inches square or so. 2 little nice folding legs, 3 or 4 pounds. I just set it on the side of the truck and it's a step stool. Just step up on that and then you can go over there and reach and grab what you need. And it's a lot easier and it's light. It folds up so small. I just throw it behind my truck seat.
Yeah.
So Tom, what's happening, dude?
I don't know.
What's the weather like out your way? Is it
It started raining today.
Really?
Yeah, it's supposed to storm tonight, actually. Talking about like pretty good
I think
potential.
it's supposed to be here tomorrow night, hopefully.
Looks like it might be an hour and a half out.
Yeah.
It's got some pretty good storms. Actually got a little rotation in there too. Hopefully that misses us. But they were saying that storms are going to hit, and they kind of started to hit a little bit early today. We had to turn out some of the overwintered nukes. I don't know, maybe 10 of them. And I had an order of queens come in early this morning that I had to go pick up. We got another 100 queens in today, so we had a handful of them that we sold off, and then had to go finish introducing those, and got almost all of them picked up by customers, and almost all of the initial nukes sent out. Now those are the overwintered ones with the last year solstice queens. And so anyway, we got a few more queens to go introduce tomorrow. I think I only have like 6 left, and then I'll have one more round of queens coming in next week on Friday. Most of those are for the club. Some of those are for me. Well, it's probably all that I'll order in, because I think Melissa will be doing some grafting hopefully after that, because I need to get those Defender hives that I got from Michael at 21st Bee, get those going. So
Yeah, I got mine, but I haven't gotten
I think what I'm going to do is, I think, you know how you can do 4 quadrants, or you can do half of it with regular frames and then two quarters, basically. I think I'm going to start with a nuke on one side and then open the dials up, try to just push it plumb full of bees, and then the 2 halves on the whichever side, the opposite of what I'm going to use, let them draw those frames out. When they start drawing those frames out, then I can start to we can start to graft queens into there. So
right.
The queens, Gary's bees. You said you're in St. Louis. Gary, you live in St. Louis, or you're just up here? So the queens that I've got in were actually bred from the USDA lab stock, much like what's his face that was in here. I'm mind blanking. What was his name? From Louisiana, the gentleman that was in the chat here.
Gosh.
I'm Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm mind blanking right now. Stonewalling. But anyway, yeah, that Eddie talks about. So those are all bred out of the USDA lab. at Baton Rouge, Louisiana, under the direction of Frank Rankovic. But anyway, the guy that I know has some breeders, and that's what we bring up here from his stock. He's kind of in a little island type area, kind of pretty isolated, so he really controls what's going on there. We've been using him now for technically at the third year. The second year that we've been bringing him in a lot, like a few hundred, but the other ones were just the year before I ran. I can't remember, maybe 20 or something. But anyway, I liked what I seen in them. They're not the cheapest queens that are out there, but I am the guy that I like quality over quantity. So anyway, Garrett, if you're looking for a couple, I probably have a couple that I can spare right now because I can take the few next ones I have coming up next Friday. If that's what you're asking anyway.
Who's that?
Oh, he's traveling right now. I gotcha. Yeah. So if you go, I'm out of St. Louis if you go Interstate 44 south, more west, but kind of southwest out of St. Louis, I'm about 35 to 40 miles outside of it, just past Six Flags by about 8 miles. Charlie, I cannot believe I was almost floored and flabbergasted. You got a couple $1,000 for that old RV?
No.
I was going to say, I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, I know jokingly I used to offer you a couple grand on it, from time to time here, just stirring up trouble. But I'm like, but did you get rid of it for real?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Did you see the video?
No, honestly, I've been so busy lately. I haven't watched anybody's videos.
Okay.
So
No, there was actually my son made the short, and I said I need that. I put that on my bee thing,
Everyone's gonna miss seeing that in your background when you change that background. You know that, right? It's been kind of like a landmark.
Yeah, the guy bought it.
He's never going to change that background, Tom.
He bought it for the motor. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, it had a motor in it. Okay, I got you. That makes sense.
I'm gonna miss. You take that frame. It's a piece of junk. Like.
Yeah. Oh, sure. It's been like a catch-all, basically, huh?
Yeah, it's a catch-all. It has every piece of junk there is.
So that's funny you mentioned that. So I have a cab off of one of our work trucks.
Well, see, that's like a Chevrolet cab or off of one of our trucks. We had two sister trucks. And we combined the two to make one because of the rust factor and the age. Yeah. And that cab's sitting there. He might buy that, but I said that's where I keep some of my bee equipment in there. Just enough to keep the water off.
You're going to have to build a bee shed out there, Charlie.
I know, right? He's going to have to turn that couple $1,000 into some little storage unit or something.
Yeah, really.
No, he
we have the same thing though. We had a nice work truck.
$100 out of that. That's about it.
We had a good work truck that the cab corner started rusting out. And I knew another guy that actually was scrapping out a truck and it had a good cab on it. And I asked him, I said, how much for the cab? And I'm like, I kind of wanted to hang on to that work truck. Once you set up a work truck with lights, strobes, you set it up for snow equipment, salting equipment, and you kind of set it up somewhat specialized, it's really more of a pain to get rid of it. It costs you a lot of money to take a bare truck and outfit it for the type of work that you're doing that works well for you, So I don't like to just get rid of them willy-nilly. So that's when we swapped the cab on it. I had another buddy of mine said he gave me a good price to swap the cab. So they pulled the entire cab off the truck, swapped it out. And so that's what we do with our cab. We just throw a bunch of, if there's scrap or whatever, we just toss it in there. It's kind of getting kind of full now, but maybe I should take a picture of that and use it for my background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
That's always in the back of my videos when I'm doing videos and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of been somewhat of a landmark back there.
Yeah, that and here lately out on my darn computer, they did some kind of security thing, and then I tried to do I have a video in the can right now. I'm trying to work on it and edit it, and it wouldn't find it on my external hard drive. And then I don't know, my computer on the floor down here has got these lights that come on and off and stuff. It just works, but they weren't doing it quite right. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take the old power button here, old school, turn you off, and then wait a few minutes and then turn you back on. Now everything seems to be working fine. So, well, guys, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and shut the chat down. Anybody wants to come, you know what to do. And we will see you next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, on Bill's on Monday at 8 at Bees All Day. And then if anybody's, Joey will have his show tomorrow night at 8:30, I think it is. Eastern.
Yeah, 8:30.
8:30 Eastern Standard.
Yeah.
And then what was it? I just seen this here. Charlie just sold it to a homeless guy that liked being homeless. Well, at least it's, it does have a cab and a windshield, and all that stuff.
Hey, was it a van parked down by the river?
I don't know. Hey, Gary. All right, I'm going to shut the chatter down, and we will catch y'all later.
See y'all.